Hey, welcome. This is James, and welcome to video 6, how to identify a monetizable skill in 10 minutes. So here's the core idea of this. Most people already possess a monetizable skills, but they never activate them. All right, so most people don't lack the skill. They lack the activation, as we've been talking about in previous videos. So a lot of people say they want to build additional income. They want to build a business, so on and so forth. Well, why don't they? There's a lot of $1,000,000 and $1 billion ideas out there. Some of y'all have literally said in your life, hey, I have $1,000,000 idea. Well, that's awesome. Well, why haven't you taken action on that? Or a billion idea? Some of y'all are the next Elon Musk. I'm not kidding when I say that. All right. A lot of people will tell you that and they might not believe you, but some of y'all have an Elon Musk idea. Why aren't you going for it? That's only a question that you can answer. So, like I was saying before, a lot of people say they want to build additional income, but the first thing they say after that is, I don't know what I would do. Huh? What? They assume building income requires some brand new idea, a revolutionary product, and some of them actually are, some complicated business plan. Business plans don't have to be complicated, folks. But most of the time, right, that's not the real problem. The real problem is much simpler. It's really simple, folks. Most people don't lack the skill. They have the skill. What they lack is they lack activation. You already know these things. All right? You know these things as well. You know what you need to do. But you've already solved problems too. And you've already helped people in ways that have lots of value. You just haven't looked at those experiences through the lens of income. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple exercise, okay? Something that takes about 10 minutes of your time, and by the end of it, you will likely identify at least one skill you already have that could generate some income for you. So why most people miss their own skills? Let's go over this section really fast. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to identify monetization skills is familiarity, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. When you do something repeatedly, your brain starts labeling it as normal. Think about habits. You're doing habits. They become normal. It doesn't feel special anymore. It doesn't feel valuable. It just feels like something you know how to do. But what feels normal to you may feel difficult for someone else. Think about that for a second. What feels normal for you may feel difficult for someone else. Someone who understands computers easily might forget how confusing technology is for other people because they're so used to it. Someone who understands finances may forget how overwhelming budgeting is for someone who never learned it. Someone who is organized may forget that many people struggle to organize anything. Skills become invisible when they become routine. See, that's one of the secrets. So the first step in identifying a monetizationable skill is simply noticing what has become easy for you. It's not a secret, but you know what I mean. It's one of the mysteries of life, I suppose. So what do people ask help for? Okay? What are they asking for? This is the fastest way to identify value. So ask yourself a simple question here. What do people already ask me for help with? Friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, everyone has that one thing that people come looking for. Maybe people ask you, how do I fix this computer problem? How do I organize my resume? How do I repair this thing or that thing? How do I plan a trip? How do I get this job? How do I set up this software? Those questions reveal something important. You see, if people already trust you enough to ask for help, it may feel small to you, but small skills can solve big frustrations for other people. And people are willing to pay to eliminate that frustration. Remember, in pain points, people are willing to pay. So what have you done repeatedly? The second question is about repetition. What are you doing? What have you done many times? This experience compounds value. If you've done something once, that's knowledge. If you've done something 50 times, that's expertise, hypothetically. Think about things you've repeated. Have you tied your shoes many times? How many times you've tied your shoes if you're able to tie your shoes? Okay, some people listening to this may not be able to tie their shoes, and sorry for that. But if you've done something natural or you've combed your hair or something, think about the things you've done repeatable. I'm just trying to get your mind to exercise some things you've done repeatedly for a living. Have you put on your glasses every day, taken them off, put them on? Those are repeatable things out of habit. Like right now, I can still see. Sure, I can see. But can I clearly think straight like I did when I was in my 20s without my glasses? I sure can. Am I going to be able to look at the screen? I may be looking at you like this or like that for a second. I got to put on my glasses for some things as I'm getting older. It's just what happens to the eyes as those folks get older here. And some people have to wear these things all their life. That's the way it is. I feel you because I'm wearing them now too. So think about things you've repeated. For example, maybe you've written some resumes. You've planned events in your life. You've fixed cars or trucks. You've managed projects. You've built some websites. You've edited videos. You've organized finances. You've helped people move. You've trained coworkers. You know what to look for when you're searching on YouTube for videos that will help with X, Y, Z, whatever that problem is that you're searching for. See, you start seeing something. When you repeat something enough times, you start seeing patterns. And patterns are valuable. Why? Why is that? Because patterns allow you to solve problems faster. Okay, someone encountering a problem for the first time may struggle with it for hours and get frustrated and want to quit it. Someone who has seen it before might solve it in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. That time difference is where value exists. So, what problems have you solved before? The third question is about problem solving history. Every adult has solved problems, even children solve problems. Personal problems, professional problems, technical problems, logistical problems. Sometimes we forget how valuable those experiences are. For example, someone who has successfully navigated the job market multiple times may know how to help others do the same. Someone who has fixed their credit may know how to guide someone else through that process. Someone who has built something from scratch may know how to help others start how to do that. Problems solved becomes knowledge stored. The brain is this beautiful thing that God has given us that remembers a lot of things short term and long term. It's beautiful, this brain. And stored knowledge, remember, problem solved become knowledge stored. So, and stored knowledge becomes potential income that you can make when applied to someone else's situation. Okay? You don't need to be perfect. Don't worry about that. You just need to be ahead of someone in the process and teach them and help them. What would someone pay to avoid? What would someone pay to avoid a problem? Okay? The question changes everything. Because people rarely pay for effort, they pay to avoid frustration. Think about that. Why am I going to pay someone to do something that I already know how to do? I want to pay for something that I'm frustrated about. Like right now, my truck's in the mechanic shop. Yeah, I could have done it. It needed new valve covers. But 2 years ago, when my friend and I did it, we glued the the valve covers down, and now I can't get them off. And I'm afraid if I try to hammer them off and try to get the old valve covers off, it will just break something on the engine. So what did I do? I paid the mechanic. I took it in. Well, I still have to pay them, but they're working on it, and I'm going to pay them. Now, was it expensive? Yeah, it sure was. But that time saved me. What he's going to do for me saves me an oil leak, a possible engine fire, a whole thing because oil was leaking from the engine. So it saves me a problem that I don't want to have later. So I pay someone to take care of my problems. Pay the mechanic in this case. So people will pay to avoid frustration, like I'm going to do. Think about that in everyday life. People pay to avoid cleaning, organizing, learning complicated software, repairing things, like I did, filling out paperwork, troubleshooting technology. Convenience has value. Speed has value too. Expertise has value. If you can help someone skip a frustrating process, you've created something monetizable. Sometimes monetizable skills are glamorous, but they solve real problems. And sometimes they're not glamorous, but they solve real problems. And real problems create real income. And getting back to that glamorous statement, if you were to help solve someone who had a glamorous problem, that's where luxury comes in. That's where the real pay is right there. I mean, really more pay than just regular problems. But still, regular problems create income. So here's the 10-minute exercise. Let's put all this together, all right, folks? I want you to take 10 minutes of your time. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper or open a document on your computer. Write down answers to these 4 questions, and I'll repeat them because you might want to do that as I'm talking and yapping on here. Go ahead and do that for a second. I'll give you some time as I cough here. Okay, question 1, and I'm going to repeat these. What do people ask me for help with? What have I done? Question 2, what have I done repeatedly? Question 3, what problems have I solved before? Question 4, what would someone pay me, what would someone pay to avoid? Let's repeat those. Going back to question 1. What do people ask me for help with? Question 2. What have I done repeatedly? Question 3. What problems have I solved before? Question 4. What would someone pay to avoid? Don't filter your answers. If you have to rewind this video, don't filter your answers though. Write everything. You'll probably notice some patterns. Those patterns point towards skills that will pay the bills. And those skills point towards opportunities. You don't need 100 ideas. You only need one, just one starting point. Expansion here. Here's why this matters more than you think. Here's something important to understand. We're going to expand this video a little bit. The goal of this exercise is not to find perfect ideas. Perfect ideas never exist to begin with. And those who think I have to be perfect, they're wasting their time. I've done it before. We've all done it. We're wasting our time when we think this has to be perfect. Oh, it doesn't. Okay? So the goal of this exercise is not to find the perfect idea. It's to activate your awareness, that beautiful brain that God has given you. Okay? Once you start thinking this way, you begin noticing opportunities are everywhere. Literally. You begin seeing value in the skills you previously ignored. You begin seeing problems that need solutions. And that awareness is so powerful. That's your economic power right there, man. And ladies, okay? Because economic power doesn't start with a giant breakthrough. It starts with recognizing value, the value that you have, that you already possess, you already use, value you already apply in your daily life. The difference between someone who activates income and someone who never does is often just perspective. It's right here, the space in between this beautiful brain. One person sees their experience as ordinary, and another person sees the same experience as valuable. Once you recognize your value, your core value, activation becomes so much easier. All right, we're going to close this video up here, folks. You don't need a new idea. You need to activate an old one. Something you already know. Something you already do. Something you've already solved. Because economic power, it rarely begins with invention. It begins with awareness. That beautiful awareness you have. In the next video, we're going to be talking about something many people misunderstand, okay? Why you don't need to quit your job to start building income. Because the smartest strategy isn't reckless change. You don't need to,